come on along for a shop tour. I'll show you where I do the majority of my work, where I record most of my videos. This is my little spot of heaven back here, and I'll just share it with you. Organization around the shop is a big thing for me. I make a mess by just thinking about it. So I've always got to be conscious to put stuff away, keep stuff organized. Otherwise, I find I'll be buying something that I know I got two of, but I need one right now and I can't find it. So I'm just going to walk you around, give you a little tour of my toolboxes, and just show you how things go, what makes sense to me. I actually just did a complete rearrangement of my toolboxes. I thought I needed to buy another toolbox until I did what I did, took out a bunch of stuff that I didn't need. Anyways, I'll show you what I've done. Now this big black jobby is my main toolbox. It's just a Home Depot deal. They used to be cheap. I mean, I paid $500 for top and bottom, and they're actually a great box. There's a lot of room in them. I'm super happy with it that way. I had it so chock full of parts and doodads and stuff that I might could use someday, but I certainly wasn't going to be using anywhere in the near future. I was ready to buy another toolbox. But if you look around this little garage of mine, I do not have room for nothing else. So I decided the first thing I was going to do is I was going to figure out what all I had, figure out what all I needed, and go from there. So we'll start with this big box. Now, I ended up, like I said, going from thinking I needed another box to having a whole bunch of room up here. This is just my immediate everyday stuff. Like, well, I don't know if this needs to be here or not, but that's just stuff I think to set up my camera for making videos. But some knives, some scissors, some Sharpies, a little tape measure, just the stuff that you absolutely need spur of the moment, and those centering punches that I have no idea where to put. Anyway, 3/8 and 1/4 inch sockets right off the top. I just put painter's tape on there so that I could just mark what's in there. And you know what? If I send somebody out here to get something or whatever, I don't have to hope and pray that they can find my stuff. It should be fairly easy for anybody to find. I got flat wrenches, metric and standard, because all my snowmobiles and my newer vehicles have lots of metric on them. And of course, the stuff that I love is pretty much all standard. I got just some line wrenches here, stubbies, long. I got a few ratcheting flat wrenches. I love those things. Those, I mean, they're cheap stuff, but they're great when you need them. My pliers and screwdrivers, now they're very organized right now. They don't always look this way, but I'm doing my best to kind of keep it that way. And nut drivers, something I got used to using when I was working in the electrical construction trades, and I quite like them for a lot of things. These ones are magnetic, and they're great when you gotta start a bolt way down deep or something like that. They've saved my bacon a few times. And of course the slip joint pliers, side cutters, needle nose, and my good old go-to lineman pliers. I love those things. Again, that's a throwback to the electrical stuff. Down here next is my 1/2 inch drive stuff. It's a little more random mishmash of stuff, but I've got all sorts of different things, torque wrenches. This here is actually, it's for rounded off nuts, but I don't know if I've ever used it, and it's probably so damn cheap it won't work anyway. But it's in there taking up space. This is the most amazing drawer. I went from thinking I needed a new toolbox, another toolbox, to having an empty drawer. Don't get me wrong, we'll find something to put in there very soon. But I am trying to keep this box down to stuff that I use all the time, every day. Now, this is files, punches, stuff like that. My electrical testing stuff, my meters, my test light. That's pretty important to me because I do have folks coming around asking me to help them out with that kind of stuff now and again. Hammers and hacksaws all fairly well laid out there. Looks pretty good. My power tool drawer leaves a little something to be desired. If I ever got asked about what to look for in a big toolbox, I don't get a whole lot out of the super deep drawers. I mean, I've got cupboards and I've got stuff for that kind of stuff. The deep drawers, I would almost have 3 shallow drawers in place of those deep drawers, because this is a toolbox. It's more for tools in my mind. But you know what? You figure it out. You'll put something in there anyway. Maybe I'll put dog treats in that other empty one or something like that. Oh wait, it's all tools or nothing in a toolbox. I forgot about that. Now this little jobby, when I was a whole hell of a lot younger than I am now, this was the only toolbox that I had. You can see by its pink color, it ended up sitting outside for quite some time. And I knocked the wheels off it. It used to be on wheels, and I've just screwed it to the wall. It had been sitting outside before I decided to revamp my whole toolbox life. And this one too. Actually, these top 2 drawers are still empty in this thing. I've got some bunch of driver bits and whatnot in this one. I've got a whole whack of drill bits, different drill bits in this one. And my tapping stuff in this one. And this stuff too, it's stuff that I use a lot. Now again, I got this big drawer at the bottom. Again, not super valuable to me in my situation. So it's got a couple carbs that I'm kind of working on in there. Leave that for now. Again, it doesn't exactly fit with the whole toolboxes or for tools deal, but honestly, that big open thing, is it really a toolbox? No, not really. So that's my next little job there. The top, somehow, I don't know, I don't remember, but the top was removed, and there's just actually a couple, if you can see, a couple of chrome valve covers sitting in there, and a Bluetooth speaker on top of it for now. As I need more room, as I grow, because I'm always buying new crap all the time, that stuff will get replaced with actual tools. And but for now, that's what we got. And then the last toolbox over here, this was my step up from my original box. Long time this held all the stuff that I had. Right now it's kind of relegated to the stuff that I like to have close and well taken care of and well kept, but I don't use all the time. This is a bunch of dial calipers that I have. I love having stuff like that, even though I don't use it that much. Dial bore gauge, some calipers in this one, and a couple compression testers, vacuum tester. I've got a fuel pressure tester that'll go in this drawer too, but be damned if I can find it. You know, I was looking for it to put it in here and it's nowhere to be seen, so I'm sure that got loaned out to somebody. This one, it's gonna get filled again. It's got just some random engine assembly tools. Like this is a handle I made for installing camshafts and Mopars. There's just for removing and installing pistons. That'll fill up with random stuff over the years. This is another one with measuring tools. I've got some I've got some bases. I've got a deck bridge. I've got got a couple of dial gauges, some random ends to screw into the dial gauges. Few things. That's super handy when you're laying stuff out. That's just stolen from my kids. A little math set. Little. This is a digital level. When I'm doing metalwork and stuff like that, I love having this thing around. This is great for measuring, great for doing 90s. And also this is just a poor man's version of that same tool. But it's always great to have one of them in there. Keep my feeler gauges in here. A couple of steel rulers, also stolen from my kids. That one's a little bit of random everything. Over here I got some snap ring pliers. Tin snips. I actually use these a lot when I'm doing the body patches and whatnot like that, but they've got their own home finally. These hose clamp pliers. This is for the springy dingy hose clamps, and I don't use them a lot, but when I do, man, that's sure the way to remove and install those things. Bunch of different Allen keys and sets and blah blah blah. There's of course the ones that have got one or two missing and they're not quite a full set, but whatever. That's what I got for those. This one just some random chargers and stuff like that. I got a bunch of different headlamps and work lights and different things that charge off those USB chargers. They're handy enough, you know. I've just got that little drawer full of them because I didn't really know where else to put them. They're not a real easy thing to store. I would envision that something more important is going to fill that drawer at some point, but they're there for now. And this is just kind of a miscellaneous drawer. This will fill up with more and more extraneous crap. But that's the nice part about having the painter's tape on there. I can just add and I can scribble on there all the different stuff that's in them drawers, and I think it'll work out pretty good. Now this homemade bottom box, it's kind of sentimental to me. My uncle, I got this from him a long time ago, and it's a little rough, but it's got good casters on it, and like I say, it means a whole lot to me. I buggered up the thing on the door there, so I just got that magnet holding it shut for now. Leak down tester, whole bunch of different clamps and vice grips and whatnot. Again, when I'm doing the body panel repair and whatnot, you can't have enough clamps and doodads like that. Bunch of spare sockets and random oversized crap and whatnot that just didn't seem to fit anywhere else, so that's sitting in there. And again, this is mostly parts down there right now, but I got that one thing full of electrical tools, and that's a good spot to hide those little drawers of stuff. So I got tons of other random tools around that either don't have homes, or I can't find them, or I loaned them out to a friend. I got stuff everywhere. One of the big things, though, I will say, I like, if I can't have it in one of my big toolboxes, and a lot of stuff just doesn't make sense to have in a toolbox like that. But if I can't have it in there, I like to have a metal with a handle toolbox for each tool or type of tool or set of tools or whatever. I've got a dedicated toolbox. Actually, I've got two dedicated toolboxes that I take with all the stuff for tuning and all my carb stuff and whatnot that I can take out to the racetrack when I go, or if I know I'm going to be doing that kind of work, just plunk, sit down those two boxes, and I know I don't have to run around, screw around, do anything. Everything that I need is right there. That's a big thing to me. The problem I'm really with now is I still have 50 pounds of shit in a 40-pound sack. Come spring, there's a couple things I'm going to do. I'm going to build a small shed outside my garage to house my big air compressor. That'll do two things. It'll give me quite a bit of floor space back. And when that thing runs, the dog runs away and I get pissed off and it's loud and it's miserable in here. And invariably, the wife phones every time the compressor runs, and then I'm in trouble for not answering the phone. Anyway, getting that compressor out of here is going to be a big deal for a multitude of reasons. And I've got to do one of two things. I've either got to organize and straighten out the shed that I have, or I've actually got to build another entire shed. And stuff that can be cold stored, like let's say my little toolbox with my angle grinders, I can just leave it out in the shed. When I need it, zip out there and get it, bring it in. It's got all the stuff I need for that kind of job. That's kind of my future plans. But for now, I'm getting everything sorted out. I've got lots of storage in here. It's just a matter of utilizing it to the best of its ability. Just like these toolboxes. I mean, to be able to go from thinking I need to find a place for another toolbox to having 3, 4 extra empty drawers, that's pretty good. So I'm pretty sure if I continue on the way I'm doing this, that I should be able to make my life a whole lot easier and make it more efficient to work out here. That's one of the biggest things for me. I don't get a ton of time in the garage. Maybe more than some guys. I come out here just about every night after work for a few hours. But when I'm out here, I want it to be as efficient as it possibly can, because that's the only way I'm ever going to get any of this stuff done. And if I don't eventually get these jobs done and get all the stuff I have planned to do for my kids, I'll never be able to get back to doing stuff for myself again. And that's where I really need to be. So all these cupboards and drawers, other than beer fridge and the liquor cabinet, you can't be messing with those. But all these cupboards and drawers and whatnots are all chock full of crap. Now, I've got down at the far end there, I've got a couple of school lockers. They're full of crap too. Going through them and identifying what needs to stay and what needs to go. I mean, look at on top of that there, those cabinets there. I got 2 sets of heads that I'm never going to use for nothing. I've got stuff. I've got just junk. Getting rid of a whole bunch of that, or repurposing it, or selling it, or doing whatever the heck I'm going to do with it, is going to go a long way to getting me to where I got to be. So I hope you enjoyed that little shop tour. I saw Hoosier Garage the other day did something similar. It was more of a toolbox tour than a shop tour. But anyway, I just wanted to share with you where I work and my kind of philosophy on how I keep my stuff, or at least how I plan to keep my stuff going forward. Bit of talk about efficiency and whatnot like that. That's kind of the world I live in with work. I'm a maintenance planner, and trying to ensure everything is as efficient and as well laid out and whatnot as can be is kind of what I do with my life. So it does trickle its way into the shop more and more all the time. The fact that I do get to spend a little more time out here than I ever have in my life, that's helping too. It's me allowing me to be able to keep the place cleaner. And cleaner is more efficient, let's be honest with. Like, that's just the way it is. Anyway, appreciate you watching. Have a great night.